for us today is to be our teacher. And he has prepared as we study together this week's Torah portion to offer his own interpretive understanding of the Torah portion. And his message brings with it much wisdom, especially in this season.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. What I find important from today's Torah portion is that listening to others can change your perspective, your ideas, and your feelings about an issue or experience. I feel this because listening can make you understand people better, which leads to empathy, less conflict, and a better world in general. My portion consists of a 70-line poem delivered by Moses to the people of Israel just before he's about to die. The Israelites were not behaving the way God wanted them to. For example, they became greedy with food and were ungrateful for the quantities that they had been given. And soon, as it says in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15, they grew fat, gross, and coarse. They also didn't respect the covenant with God, as they started to pray to gods they never knew. God was angry with their actions. Moses was about to die, and he had to get the Israelites to change their behavior, or God said that God would unleash plagues on them. In order to change the Israelites' ways, they would have to really listen to Moses and take action. Moses suggested in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7, to remember the days of old, consider the years of ages past. Ask your parent, who will inform you, your elders, who will tell you. He was trying to get them to listen to their elders and learn about their family's past and tradition. Learning about the past from our older, more experienced members of your community can help you not repeat mistakes that were already made. As George Montiona famously wrote in his book, The Life of Reason, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Listening and learning from elders can help you to make better choices in the future. The Israelites might have not decided to pray them to more than one God and not be greedy with food. These are mistakes that their ancestors had already made, and by listening, they would have been less likely to repeat them. In my portion, it also talks about the importance of traditions. The concept of door to door, meaning generation to generation, is important in Judaism. Moses says in his poem, ask your parents who will inform you, your elders who will tell you. The idea of passing tradition, wisdom, and ways of life from one generation to the next fits with this statement by Moses, because your parents or elders are passing the tradition of your family when you ask them. Listening to others can change your perspective, ideas, or feelings about an issue or experience as well. The concept of door to door aligns with this idea about listening to others, because while learning about your past and tradition, you are listening to your elders. And maybe by doing this, they change what you thought the past was like. For example, because I asked, my grandmother has written notes for me about her grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, and how she learned from him as she was growing up as a child. He taught her about Judaism and being kind to others. He told her about how he hired a black man in a time that many would not. He also took her around to all different places of worship to show her the beauty of their architecture and spiritualism. He inspired our family to be better individuals by refusing to go along with the social norm. He felt in his heart that he should do what was right, not what society was trying to convince him to do. These ideas trickled down from him to my grandmother, to my mother, and now to myself. Another important thing listening can do is change your perspective about an issue or experience. One way this ties into our own lives today is all the propaganda from the presidential election that is going around. For example, these days, the news usually goes on 24/7 to persuade people to vote for a specific party or candidate. This current election, I've noticed that fear is being employed to make people feel like there's no other choice. For example, one candidate is saying he will stop immigration of Muslims and Mexicans, and he will build a wall between Mexico and the United States. He wants to physically get these people out of our country, and is telling us that we should feel threatened by them. By making us afraid, he hopes that we will change our feelings and perspective and vote for him. I think that the intention of Moses' poem in my Torah portion, was not just to change the Israelites' actions, but to make them change their whole perspective or mindset about what they were doing and why it was wrong. And if they changed, their reward would be feeling content and satisfied. In our commentary on this portion, Rabbi Andrew Lee's PhD says 4 similes in verse 2 compare Moses' words to water. Just as water is essential for sustaining life, so Moses hopes that the recitation of this message will enable Israel to long endure upon the land that they prepare to enter. I think that listening to someone else's perspective could be essential for life and could also be refreshing like water. We celebrated Yom Kippur this past week. Yom Kippur is the day where all Jews think back on the past year and reflect on the bad things they did and ask other people and God for forgiveness. This process relates to my portion because in order to receive forgiveness, you must listen and understand what you did. These actions on Yom Kippur help you to see other perspectives, and this makes you a better person because it helps you to connect with other people. Another important part of listening is the ability to have a change in feeling. For example, I was at my friend Miles' bar mitzvah, and I was listening to his drash. His drash was mostly about the difference between wanting and needing something. Earlier that day, I ran into the same situation. I was looking at some pictures on the internet and saw a pair of shoes I thought were really cool and I really wanted. So I went to my mom and asked her if I could have them. And she said what she said every time when I asked for something. Do you really need it or do you just want it? The truth was I didn't need it because I got a new pair of shoes about a week earlier. I was pretty upset that I didn't get the shoes, but while I listened to Miles' Josh, I felt more content and upset. In the end, by listening, my feelings changed, and I realized that my mom was right about not needing the new shoes. All in all, there are many important things that listening can do, such as changing your perspective, helping you connect and understand people better, and allowing you to have a change of feeling. So the next time you might have a disagreement with somebody, I challenge you to listen to their side of things in order to understand them better and see where they are coming from. If we all do this more, the world would be more friendly and a better place. Can you hear what so maybe?